Episode 2 of It Welcome to Derry starts with Lily waking up and hoping the theater incident was just a nightmare. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The cops are parked outside Hank Grogan's apartment because everyone thinks he kidnapped those kids, even though he has an alibi. His mom wants Ronnie to go back to school, but Hank wants to keep his daughter close, which honestly makes sense when kids are vanishing in your town. We meet the Hanlon family for the first time. Leroy Hanlon is chilling on his porch when his wife Charlotte and his son Will show up. Will finds a telescope in his new room and gets excited. Leroy jokes about spying on neighbors, but Will actually looks concerned and says they shouldn't do that. This kid either has amazing manners or he's already picking up Derry's weird vibes. School scenes are always uncomfortable in horror shows. Marge desperately wants to fit in with the popular kids by making fun of some random boy. Ronnie walks into school and everyone stares at her like she did something wrong. Lily approaches her anyway because she's actually a good person. When Marge tries to get Lily to sit down with the popular crowd, Lily basically says she doesn't care about their stupid group anymore since her other friends are dead. Will's first day goes terribly. He shows up late to class and when he tries to sit down, some jerk pulls his chair out so he falls on the floor. Everyone laughs except Rich, who compliments his pencil instead. At least one person in the school wasn't raised by wolves. Now at the military base, Shaw tells Leroy that Masters, the guy who attacked him, isn't a Soviet spy. He's just a regular racist who wanted to scare him. Shaw says this like it's supposed to make Leroy feel better, which is insane. Meanwhile, Charlotte goes to the meat market and sees boys beating up another kid outside. When nobody helps, she steps in herself. One bully gets in her face without any fear. Everyone else just watches like it's normal. Charlotte tells Leroy about it later, but he says not to get involved. This kills the dinner conversation real fast. Now we get to the scary part. Ronnie is in bed listening to her dad and grandmother argue. She pulls the blanket over her head and suddenly the mattress starts beating like it's a heart. The blanket turns into skin and fills with water. She can't breathe and struggles until she finally breaks through and falls on the floor. But something else is in the bed. It's her dead mother in a wedding dress, telling Ronnie she killed her during childbirth. She also blames Ronnie for those dead kids and says she'll kill her father too. Her mother's face decays and an umbilical cord wraps around Ronnie, trying to drag her toward a stomach full of teeth. Inside are two glowing yellow eyes. Ronnie escapes, but her zombie mother shuffles towards her until Ronnie screams loud enough to wake her dad. Then the monster disappears. Three black military officers are at a bar talking about being questioned by police. One of them is Dick Halloran, who jokes about being on a secret spy mission. The police chief walks in, and his last name is Bowers, which would set off alarm bells if you know it. You guys at the bar are convinced Hank is guilty despite having zero evidence. When the bartender gives them a look, the officers leave and head back to base. The next day, three native teenagers watch the military dig up their land. This is the fourth spot they've dug in 4 months. Halloran is there looking sick, and his commander isn't happy with the lack of results. In the cafeteria, Ronnie tells Lily she's scared her dad will be arrested and killed. Lily said she saw a monster at the theater, but now she's not sure what she saw. She knows Hank wasn't there, but she can't tell the truth or she'll be taken away. In the hallway, Will eats lunch alone until Rich joins him. Rich asks about his book and then swoons over the popular girls, especially Marge. Someone throws a smoke bomb, Will runs into a teacher and ends up in detention with Ronnie. Outside, Lily gets taken away by cops. At the police station, Chief Bowers manipulates Lily hard. He brings up her dad and her time in a psychiatric hospital, then says this makes her look suspicious, and he threatens to send her back to the hospitals for a few days, which terrifies her. Then he asks if she's absolutely certain Hank wasn't there. Under pressure, Lily says she's not certain anymore. Based on this forced testimony from a scared kid, Hank gets arrested. Ronnie shows up at Lily's house angry and demanding to know what she did. Leroy visits his attacker Masters in jail. He pulls out a rare gun and asks how Masters got one just like it. Masters can't even load it properly. Leroy goes to General Shaw and says Masters is innocent, but Shaw already knows because he planned the whole attack. He wanted to test how brave Leroy was and he passed. Leroy is furious about being beaten up as a job interview. Shaw asks for 10 minutes to explain everything. Lily goes to the grocery store alone and things get supernatural fast. A voice whispers that she should be locked up. The speaker calls her name while everyone watches. She panics as the aisles lead to an impossible dead end. She sees her dead friends' faces on cereal boxes. In a pickle jar, her father's rotting face watches her. After she smashes it, his body parts pull together into a gross mass. gas. Lily closes her eyes, and when she opens them, everything is normal. The grocer is just standing there. This outburst gets her sent back to the psychiatric hospital. Then Shaw takes Leroy to a secret part of the base. He explains that the Soviets and Cubans are working on missiles together. The Americans want to win the Cold War by finding a weapon buried in Derry a long time ago instead of building a new one. They don't know what it is, but it creates fear. They need Leroy to help secure it once they find it. Someone walks in with Dick Halloran saying they found something. It's nighttime and raining at the dig site. They've pulled up an old car from the 1930s, and when they open it, human skeletons fall out. They're definitely getting close to something bad. And that's the end of episode 2. Alright, now time for the theories. Now, the military finding that car with skeletons, in my opinion, is huge. If this show is set in the early 1960s, then the 1930s was the last time Pennywise was active. That car probably holds victims from the last feeding cycle. The military thinks they're looking for a Soviet weapon or alien tech, but they're actually about to find an ancient monster that eats fear. That's not gonna go well for anyone involved. Leroy getting recruited makes sense beyond just connecting to the original story. Shaw saw him stay calm during that attack. In my opinion, they need someone who can handle extreme fear without breaking down. Leroy might be one of the few people who can get close to Pennywise without losing it completely. This could explain why the Hanlon family becomes so important in Derry's history. Lily being stuck in a psychiatric hospital is setting up something terrible. Nobody there believes her about the monster, and Pennywise could torment her constantly, knowing that every time she reports it, people just think she's having delusions. Episode 3 will probably show doctors dismissing everything she says while increasing her medication. We haven't seen the classic clown form yet. The show is probably saving that reveal for a major moment, maybe when the military breaches Pennywise's lair. Alternatively, the clown might appear to a child who has seen pictures of clowns, twisting something fun into something horrifying. The iconic Pennywise look carries huge weight in horror culture, so the show is being smart about when to use it. Episode 3 will probably start connecting the separate storylines more directly. Right now, the military plot, school plot, investigation, and supernatural horror are running parallel. The next episode should show how these threads weave together. This is when horror shows shift from setup to escalation, and yeah, the body count will probably increase too.